What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Football Corner Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremiah Queen. And of course, before we get started with today's episode, I would like for all my viewers on YouTube to subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening to me on the podcast app, please subscribe to the podcast. Let's cue it up. So a star player has moved from the NFC-South to the NFC-West. And that player has been none other than former Carolina Panther Christian Mccaffrey. So according to Ian Rappaport, Christian McCaffrey has been traded to the 49ers in exchange for a second, third, fourth, and fifth round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. And I think this move has been one of the greater moves so far this season. Christian McCaffrey adds great running ability, great receiving ability to that 49ers offense. With a team that has been plagued by injuries, they can really use some help and depth at the running back position, especially having Elijah Mitchell be on IR this season. So now you look at this offense. Now you have Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk at the wide receiver position, George Kittle at the tight end position. You have Jimmy G at quarterback, and also you have Kyle Juszczyk at the fullback. And now all you're doing is adding Christian McCaffrey to add to this offense, especially for the offense that only put up 14 points against the Falcons. And there's no shade against the Falcons. I think the Falcons are a gritty team. They play with a lot of heart. They play with a lot of physicality. But I believe the 49ers thought they were the better team that day. But because of the injuries they suffered offensively and defensively, it was too much to overcome playing a team that's that physical. So getting Christian McCaffrey for the 49ers is really going to help them make a push to be the division lead in the NFC West. But we could switch sides to what the Panthers gain out of this. So as already alluded to, the Panthers have gained 4 draft picks. And it looks like the Panthers are in complete rebuild mode. They fired the head coach. They got rid of one of their receivers, star receivers, and Robbie Anderson. He was traded earlier this week to the Arizona Cardinals. So it looks like this team is just waiting for the draft. They're 1-4. No one believes this team is going to win anyways. Every time you look at the betting odds, any team that plays them, I believe the Buccaneers play them this week. I think the Buccaneers are favored by something roughly around 10 points. All right. Which means this team is not built to win, and especially when you have your star receiver, DJ Moore, not even remembering the quarterback that he just played with in the previous game. By the way, the quarterback was Jacob Eason, DJ Moore, if you didn't know, right? So it just goes to show you that it's a lot of dysfunction in the organization. David Tepper, the owner, is ready to move on, collect draft picks, and capitalize that in the future. So let's transition into what I would like to call way too early wildcard teams. So I'm going to pick 4 teams, 2 teams per conference, and what I predict will be 90% chance making the playoffs. They're the best teams right now. Lock it in. Go buy your playoff tickets. So the 2 teams from the AFC will be pretty easy. It will be the Bills and the Chiefs. I don't think any other team in the AFC can compete with them right now. If I had to choose, like runner-ups, will be the Chargers and the Ravens. But both teams are too inconsistent. With the Ravens, it's Lamar Jackson late game debacles. Also the Ravens defense. And then with the Chargers, I think it's just really Brandon Staley and his aggressive play calling kind of determines the fate of the Chargers. So with that, I would like to say that the Chiefs are the second best team in the AFC. I want to put them first. I think the Chiefs or more experience, right, when it comes to playoff football, but I can't say that they're better than the Buffalo Bills because the Bills just play better football in the regular season. Now, when we get to the postseason, there'll be a different story, but right now, it's all based off of what you do in the regular season. The Buffalo Bills are playing really good football. They only had one hiccup this season, and that was when they had to go into the scorching heat in Miami and play a long football game. And even though Josh Allen threw for 400 plus yards, you could tell that team was gassed. They had no mojo left. The northern team shouldn't be playing in that type of weather. But it's football, so you got to come to play, and they're not coming to play that day. So, yeah, But the Bills, besides that, they're 5-1. They beat the Chiefs, which I know some of you are saying, well, they beat the Chiefs in 2021, and the Chiefs still beat them in the playoffs. I get that. But right now, I only could go off of what I've seen in the regular season. And right now, the Buffalo Bills kind of outplayed the Chiefs. People want to talk about Lamar Jackson having turnovers at the late and late game scenarios, right, in the fourth quarter. But Pat Mahomes has done it also. Lamar Jackson has 2 interceptions that kind of seal his fate in 2 of his games, which was against the Bills through an interception, and then more recently when he had to play the Giants, he threw an interception, and that caused the Ravens ultimately to lose. Now you can say the same thing for the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes threw an interception against the Colts that ended the game, and then Pat Mahomes threw an interception against the Bills to end the game. So, and that's the issue. You have to, and I believe the Chiefs will overcome that. I think the Chiefs will bounce back, get better. They're still developing chemistry with the receivers and their playmakers. Sky Moore looks like they're trying to get him a bigger role in the offense just because he's one of their speed guys. But the Bills are really good. Hats off to them. Leslie Frazier is coaching up that defense to be really good. Josh Allen, 17 passing touchdowns, which leads the league right now. So right now he is the MVP favorite. So those are my 2 teams that will be in the wild card, in my opinion, coming out of the AFC. Now, if we go to the NFC, the 2 teams would be the Eagles and the Vikings. And oddly enough, the 2 runner-ups I will have to pick will be the Cowboys and the Giants, right? Both teams, I know the Giants are 5-1 and they have 1 loss, and that's against the Cowboys. But the Giants, I still have to see a little bit more from them. I'd see they're aggressive, they're physical. They've been really good in a game situations. They have been able to come back from double-digit deficits. And then the Cowboys are getting Dak Prescott back. So, that's why those 2 teams are my runner-ups. But right now, the best football is being played by the Eagles out of all the teams in the NFL, period, let alone the NFC. The Eagles have dominated in every game. And I know some people say, well, they're not scoring a lot of points in the fourth quarter. Well, it doesn't matter if you win the ball game. When it becomes a problem, when they're losing, then it will get to it. But as long as they keep winning games, why should we matter how many points they score in the fourth quarter if they still get the job done? That means your defense is holding the opponent, not letting them score when it's time for end-of-game situations. If your offense can't get the job done, your defense need to put the offense in their backpack and get the job done. And also the Vikings are playing really good football too. And coincidentally, the Vikings only lost to the Eagles, which I just said are the best team in football. The Vikings are really good. They play. Kirk Cousins is playing at a high level. I like Kirk Cousins. I know most people don't like him because he's not good in primetime games. But Kirk Cousins, statistically, he's a really good quarterback. He has been playing really good football. He has owned Aaron Rodgers since he came to this division. I don't think he gets credit for that. And they're doing the opposite of what they did last year. So last year, they lost most of their games. They lost was one score, right? And this year they're winning games, even though their teams are coming back. But they're finishing, they're closing. Last year they weren't closing. So getting the new head coach and Kevin O'Connell has enabled them to be able to close out games. And this is why their team is 5-1 and are most likely going to win the NFC North. With Week 7 approaching this Sunday, I have to talk about teams that you need to win. It's your last chance. So let's just call this segment Last Chances. And teams that only have one more chance left is the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, you are 2-4. Y'all are going up against the red-hot New York Jets. The Jets are playing really good football, but Broncos, if you want any hope, or you have any hope, to actually turn your season around, you cannot afford to lose against the Jets. If you do, your season is over. You will drop to 2-5, and you will be irrelevant. You will be the laughing stock of the NFL because you pay Russell Wilson all that money to get only 2% worth of that, and then you hired a head coach and Nathaniel Hackett thinking he was the guy, and he might not even be the guy. So you must win. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to turn this around. A team that also I think that needs to turn it around will be also the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers, you are 3-3. You have dropped 2 in a row to 2 New York teams that going into the season weren't even considered worthy of being a playoff mention. So, with that, you have to win your next matchup. You can't afford to lose. You can't drop another game because that means you will have dropped 3 games in a row. And what type of tone did that set for your young team? You got Aaron Rodgers, who's the veteran, and you got some veterans on defense. But your defense, if you haven't noticed, haven't been playing really good football. Now, besides Rashawn Gary, who's been getting after the quarterback as a pass rusher, no one else in that defense I could point out that have really stand out. So, Packers, get the job done. Go win on Sunday. Don't be the laughingstock. Don't be the Denver Broncos. And also, the final team will be the Raiders. Raiders will go to play the Houston Texans. Texans, not much was expected. You're trying out Davis Mills as quarterback. Maybe he's the guy. Maybe not. Maybe he's not the guy. But Lovie Smith does have them playing competitive football. And the Raiders, you're too good of a team, and it shows we see it. Y'all are the Vikings of last year. A team with a lot of offensive talent, but no wins to show for it. You can't keep losing these close ball games. Raiders, you play the Texans, go get the win, turn your season around, go to 2-4, start looking promising, and maybe Josh McDaniels will actually keep his job. Thanks for watching and listening to the Football Corner podcast. Podcast episodes will be dropped on Mondays and Fridays, as well as YouTube videos on Mondays and Fridays. You could click the link in my description in order to follow the social media links to my podcast social media pages. And also, you'll be able to stay up to date on new drops, new takes, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. See you next time.